evening, everyone. I'm privileged to be in your various homes and lives, private lives, public lives, depending on where you're watching me from. It's a privilege to have you on board this hour, this moment, this minute. I'm so excited because I know that someone is leaving this platform changed and charged. Someone is leaving this platform determined to become the best version of yourself. Somebody is leaving this platform today telling yourself that your background is not supposed to be put your back on the ground. Somebody is leaving this platform to be determined, telling yourself that whatever takes you round don't have to take you wrong. Anything can take you round in life, but it doesn't have to take you wrong. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. Doesn't have to take you wrong. Life is a choice. The best choice you can make in your life is to make a decision to change. Seek help. God has given us everything that pertains to life. This life and godliness. There is no problem, there is no challenge that has no solution. There is nothing you're going through that does not have an answer. Answer is somewhere. God takes delight in concealing things. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. He is a concealer. But it's the honor of king and priest to search it out. And we are kings, we are priests on this earth. So you should not be grossing in darkness. You should not be, going everywhere looking for solution. Where you can have it at the tip of your finger is everywhere. And that's why I'm telling you, if you're going through stuff, you were raised from a dysfunctional system. You were not well set as a child. You need help. If you notice anything in your life that is subliminally hitting you, hurting you, killing you, you are dying inside. It's like the whole world is crumbling on my head. Seek help. Help is always available. God is the present help in the time of need. And I'm not talking about being unnecessarily, paranoid, trying to look for what is not lost. No. If you know on the inside of you, I tell people, I said, if you are sick emotionally, you are the only one that knows. Nobody knows. X-ray does not see emotional sickness. And that's how bad it is. But when you start displaying some things, people that have been oppressed and depressed growing up, treated madly, badly, Americans say madly, at the end of the day, you can start lashing out in anger. Some can just go inside and go to their shell. Some, you just notice that they are unnecessarily quiet and what they are doing in the secret. I remember a guy gave a testimony on Sunday. The guy said, I was smoking marijuana, I was deep in it, and I lived with somebody for 5 years and the person did not know. That shows you that until he began to have bad dreams, nightmares, you are as sick as your secret. Somebody should help me to note that. You are as sick as your secret. You can't afford to be living a double life, two-faced, Somebody is two-faced, well, whatever. One face will show one day when there's shame, embarrassment. You find yourself in the mental home, then the face will show. No matter how much you mask, no matter how much you put your concealer, you make up, and you are like Miss World, when you are sleeping, you can't sleep with those things. You have to, when you bath, your real beauty is when you wake up, not when you are out there for everyone to see. The same thing with emotional sickness. It's going to come up, it's going to show. And some, I'm so scared of having to live and being an emotional wreck for the rest of your life. You are now old, you are 60, you are 70, you are 80, and you have become so useless to yourself. You can't lay a demand on something that is tangible that you have done with your life. I don't want that. I want you to seek help. Help is available. Oh, somebody said, knowledge is so expensive. Ignorance is more expensive. If knowledge is expensive, ignorance is more expensive. Knowledge is might. Know what is happening to you. There's something I don't like. Every demon in hell, they know. If I have headache, I must know why that headache is there. I cannot live my life, trying to look at myself and say, okay, what will be, will be. What will be will not be. Something is wrong somewhere. I must figure it out. I must find it out. I must know what is wrong with me before I now say, okay, let's deal with it. And what is the simple analysis of it? Trace it, face it, erase it, and start replacing it. If you can't trace it, you can't face it. It's not possible. You must, even in the natural, if you have, something like fever in Africa, we have malaria all the time because of mosquitoes. You'd have known that this mosquito has bitten me somewhere. Thank you. The true knowledge, yes, is important. The symptoms will be there. You will know that something is wrong with you physically in your health. How much more would you now be emotionally ill and you think it will go without treatment? It's still a puzzle to me how people think. Now, the reason why a lot of people think that is a normal life is because people that are in this vocation are very few. Many people don't even know what is wrong with them. They can't put their fingers on it. You just hear a parent say, my son is sick, he's just down, he's always getting angry, he smokes, he drinks. Nobody goes to the depth of why? Ask questions. Why? I have a guest in the house this evening, afternoon, morning, depending on your time. Why? Last week I saw a lot of whys. Why? He had to go through so much. Why will he spread being a pedophile? Why will he spread being homosexual? Why will he spread anger? Why will he spread going to brothels? Why? The why is rooted in parenting. Anytime I talk about parenting, I get very upset and emotional, because whether you like it or not, or you know it or not, you are going to stand before God and be accountable to God on how you raise your children. Your children are not yours. Children are God's heritage. They are not your property. They don't belong to you. Children are God's heritage. There are arrows in your hand, and you must know how to pull the trigger to shoot the arrow to hit the head of the devil. And the life of a child is so fragile. It's like you want to build a foundation. You put your sharp sand, you put the gravel, you mix it with all sorts of things, then you put cement. When it is set, it is set. It will only take the mercy of God at His peak to help you to deal with it when you are set. And that is why when we take people through addiction process, is like peeling an onion. Is in line upon line. It's like you are opening it layer by layer. You cannot get it done once, because the problem did not get there at once. I believe in miracle. I believe in the supernatural. I believe the hand of God touches people and free them. But the Bible cannot be broken. Matthew 12:43-45 says, when an unclean, if you are a believer, you are in the world of my faith, in the tenet of my faith, it's clear. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he walks through dry places, seeking rest and findeth not. I say, let me return and check what's happened in that space. If he finds this place kept, swept and garnished, clean. Oh, when you receive deliverance, it's clean, man. When you give your life to Christ, the light of God shines inside. Yes. He said, I will return and check. Those demons that left, sexual perversion, anger, rage, bitterness, unforgiveness, everything will come back. Whatever it is that was your stronghold, was what the devil was using, what is in the heart of the devil that he has popped into your heart. Clean. When the light comes, when deliverance comes, he will come and peep. As soon as he peeped into your life and he sees that the place is swept, kept and garnished, well nurtured garden, he will come back. When he comes to check, you know what he's expecting? Accountability. If you are hearing me today and you are not accountable to anybody, you are an accident that is about to happen. No matter who you are, take it to the bank. No matter who you are, somebody must tell you, no, it can't be done. It's not possible. A comforter and a confronter. If the person, probably you had problem with sexual, perversion, you are into prostitution, you masturbate, you watch pornography. Now that you are saved, what happens? That unclean spirit goes everywhere, blah, blah. There's life. You are bubbling over, speaking in tongues. Everywhere you are good. Then, when that thing comes to check you, probably it won't come with adultery. It won't come to go to a brothel. It will come with a thought or a lust. Or you just saw someone say, wow, I feel like having sex with this person. If you are accountable, you go and open your mouth and talk to your accountability person and tell the person, I know I'm saved. I know I'm delivered. But a thought just came in. And when light shines, darkness runs away. Truth is light. Knowledge is light. The moment light comes in, darkness is exposed. Because when you come out with truth, darkness cannot be involved in your life again. That is the job. And as soon as that happens, you just keep growing. With your accountability person, you keep growing from glory to glory, from glory to glory. Before you know it, you are free to fly. There must be accountability when the devil comes to check you. There must be commitment. Commitment. You are doing something for God in a way that you too, you know that that thing I'm doing, I can't be, as I'm talking to you now, you can't find me in adultery. You can't find me stealing. You can't find me lying. Why? It's not because I'm better than any other person, but I'm committed. My life must show forth the praises of the one who has called me out of darkness into his marvelous light. I have to live a transparent life. A life that anybody can ask me, Madam, Funke, what are you doing there? That's not right. That's life. The devil can't come back and bring stronger demons. Then he wants service. Doing something for your creator. You are saved to serve. You are saved to serve. The moment the unclean spirit comes and finds these three things in place, it won't stay there. But if it is empty, no commitment, no service, no accountability, when it comes to you, it's coming as if you are experiencing tsunami or hurricane. It will sweep you off your faith. I've seen a lot of people that were genuinely born again. Some of them were even into deliverance ministry. They were doing the supernatural, but they were not accountable. There's no commitment. There's no service. As soon as the devil comes back, they start living a life. I've had men, because I deal with people with sexual addiction. I'm a sexual addiction therapist. I see people that will say, Ma, what I did not do as a non-believer is what I'm doing now. Please check into therapy. Help is available. I love to preach. Somebody said, that's her life. Yes, it's my life. That's what I'm living for. No other reason. I'm passionate about giving all the information to everybody that dares to listen and wants to hear. Dynamic Parenting Webinar is resuming on the 25th of March 2023. By the grace of God, on Thursday, I'm going to be having a giant. I'm not going to tell you. Under being sex wise and parenting, I'm bringing a juggernaut, a powerhouse, power bank. I'm bringing him to come and share with us. Tonight, we have a guest. My story, my reality. Last week, I couldn't recall. If you missed any of the episodes of My Story, My Reality, in all our platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, please go there and listen. Somebody's story is that person's reality. This person I'm bringing in today, the things he told us last week. You know, when I talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, people think I like to talk. You know, that woman, her own is too much. Her mouth is whatever you say. Life is personal. But all I know is that truth is powerful. Truth is potent. You will know the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth of this person's life has given a lot of signature and appendix to my ministry of restoration and talking about raising children, parenting, and all of that, because a lot of people don't even know what they are dealing with when they brought children to this world. My story, my reality. I have my guest in the house. You must have met her last week. If you have not, well, he's here today, live and direct. He's going to tell us his story and continuation. This is part 2. We couldn't finish it last week because those things, and because I'm using him as a case note. I wasn't rushing him. I wanted him to have his time to explain to us his story and his reality. He's no other person. I'm going to call him shortly. Let me try and reach out to him and call him. Go live. Good evening, my brother. Good evening. Yes. Good job. Hello? Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining. Good evening. I hope your day was not too hectic. You Lagos people. I told somebody, I said, I'm not envious of you at all.
Thank you, ma.
That is not a life I want to live. Not at this stage.
That is true.
Lagos life is another life on its own. Welcome. Thank you
for really not easy,
coming. I know it's not easy because when I chatted you, that was around what time is it? Around 8:23. You said you are just getting in. Wow. That's serious. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, ma.
Yes. Last week we started a journey, and I want us to continue. Every mess is a message. My mess is my message. My mess is my ministry. My mess is my mandate. And I see it with brother Ayodeji that Adedeji, Adedapo Ayodeji. I see it as his message, his mess, his ministry, his mandate. And I'm so appreciative of him because he was open, he was vulnerable. He was actually almost giving the time, the date, the venue, the places. It's so amazing. We are living in a generation that they want to wear masks. And that's why my story, my reality, I tell them, if you don't want to show your face, it's fine. But at least let's just hear your story for someone to be blessed and for someone to know that because we don't do parties for those that are suffering, you don't even know that you don't have a problem. In my language, they say, I should yani. When you see people that have been through stuff and they are sharing their story with us, okay, wow, so I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to be sports, before God. And that's how it is when you have someone that is courageous enough to say, once I was blind, now I can see. I went through this, and that, and today this is who I am, a better person, and that's who this my brother is today. Adedapo Ayodeji. Welcome to my story, my reality with Funkeadetuberu. Go ahead and let me do all the listening because I really want to maximize the time we have today. Thank you so much for coming. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me, ma. Thank you, ma. I really appreciate your time and every effort you are putting into this. May God continue to bless you, ma. I really thank you and I appreciate every moment, ma. So, starting from where I stopped last week, after I left where I was, then I went back to my dad. I started living with my dad for some time. And after then, I went on a vacation. I went to Lagos. I came to Lagos right here. I came to meet one of our uncles. So I lived with him around Isale Ofin here in Lagos. So I lived with him for about 3, 4, 5 months because it was a long vacation from after secondary school then. No, before secondary school then. So after that, he didn't want me to return back to or to continue my education. So my father sent for me. So actually I returned. So after I returned, then I worked as a petrol attendant. I worked as a petrol attendant. The place was around Podo in Ibadan. It's oppositing a bar there. Just a hotel is around that place. Very, very popular in Ibadan. So I worked there. So after then, I took JAMB form. I had my JAMB, but I opted to go in for part-time course in University of Ado-Ekiti. It was called University of Ado-Ekiti then, UNAT then. So now it's being called EXU right now. So then I took the jam, I did everything. Then my father told me, he said he cannot sponsor my education. He said he can't sponsor my education. He said he didn't have the capacity to do so. So I said, okay. I informed my mother. So my mother supported me and I went on. But I took part-time. Although I had my jam, I opted for part-time. So I was learning a skill when I got there. I was learning a skill, barbing. I was learning how to do hairstylist and all that. So when I got there, so at a point in time, I discovered that there was no money anyway. There was no money for me to actually finance the education. So there was no money, there was no enough money, and everything was just happening. So if I call my dad, he will not give me the necessary support that I needed most. So I stopped working. I stopped learning the apprenticeship program I put myself into. I stopped it. I went to work as a pure water delivery boy there to every corners of Ekiti. So we follow the Capstar, we go and deliver waters. So from then they were paying me around 6,000 naira then. So the woman was so nice to me. She was extremely nice to me. In fact, the first day I met the woman, she gave me 5,000 naira to clear my accommodation or something, the rent that I had then. So because I was just walking around, I was so tired and I was sad. I was walking around. The woman saw me. I actually went there to look for work. So he asked me how my containers looked like that. So I told her nothing. She pressed me and she gave me 5,000 naira after that day. And she told me to come back. Her husband used to travel to Germany and return. So I was working there for a while. And those people that are working with me there, they 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 started introducing some things because they like me and they like the way I relate with them. So they started introducing some things that we should be going out and we should be stealing the woman's money. So because they have a kind of function that they arranged. So if they go out, they have a way of selling off the diesel. So then they will share the money. They can make 40,000 naira, 20,000 naira and share it among themselves. So after the first day, I followed the Capstar to go outside. So they introduced me to that thing. And when I saw the thing they were doing, I started asking myself that this woman helped me. Is this the only way I will repay her? So honestly, so I was not okay. They gave me the money that this is my own share. And these guys, if they go out to go and sell, they will come back. You will think as if you will look at them, you will think as if they have never eat anything. So they will come home and the woman will also give them money to go and get something. So it was after I followed them, then they started telling me all those stories. They told me we'll go into covenant that if I, because they know that I was very open to that woman. They said if I leak their secret, they are going to do this and this to me. So well, after we were coming back the second day, I just took the 1,000 naira they gave me. I returned it to the guy. I told him, I said, I'm not interested in this thing. I said, I'm not interested. He said, why? I said, I'm not interested. I said, I cannot do this kind of thing. So I then, after the next day, I told the woman, I said, I cannot work here. I worked after 2 or 3 months before they allowed me to be following the Capstars anyway. So the woman asked me why. I said, no, I said nothing. Up to you now, the woman didn't know the reason why I left the place. So after I left the place, because I can't do such a thing, because if the woman gets to discover that this is the way that I repaid her, it's going to be very, very painful. Yes, ma. So I refused. I didn't. The woman pressed me, asked me for reason. I said no, I said I just cannot continue. So I left the place I left the place. After I left the place, my mother sent me money then for my school fee as I was running the part-time then. So it was 70,000 naira. So then I used the money in order to start a business, recharge card selling. So I was selling and everything. But as time goes on, I discovered that I was having carryovers in my course. I started piling up carryovers. I started carrying courses often and often. I started carrying courses. And the one that got me battered most was around the time we were supposed to write our exam. Our school is such school that if you didn't pay your tuition fee before exam, they will not allow you to sit down to write the exam. So as we were writing our exam, I was in 200 level then. We were, no, I think, yes, I think 200 level then. I think second semester or first semester, we were writing the exam. So they just came into the hall and dragged me outside. They took some other guys that have not paid money and so on and so forth. So I carried a lot of courses then. That brought about the reason why I dropped out of the school. So after I dropped out, I stayed for a while. I went to go and work at a bakery because all the money that I was using to work, everything just disappeared like that. So I joined a bakery. I was working at the bakery then. After that incident, I worked at a bakery for like 6 to 7 months. Then, so the suffering was so much that I could no longer take it. So at a point, I told my mother, I said I cannot continue because she was the only one who is carrying the load. My father had already told me that he cannot finance my education, that I should find a way for myself. So after then, I had to move out of the school. I returned back to Ibadan. So after returning back to Ibadan, I started working because I had the desire to still go to school then. So I returned back to Ibadan. After returning back to Ibadan, I I didn't bother, I didn't question my father, I didn't ask him anything. I just went to work in another place. I looked for a job at a poultry. There's an advanced poultry around if I describe the place, you will know the place, but I don't want to do as if I'm doing advertisement. So it's a very big company owned by Israelis. So it's a poultry still existing up till now. So it was around that Lagos Ibadan Expressway, old Lagos Ibadan Expressway. So I worked there. As I worked around 3 to 4 months, so they transferred me from there to their second branch in Ogun State. So that place happens to be around the Ajebo, along Lagos Ibadan Expressway there. But you branch to the right hand side, then you go inside. It's after a university around there. So I normally trek to work for around maybe that place is a village anyway. So they transferred me there. I would trek to work around, let's say 12 to 10 to 12 kilometers every day. I run day shift, night shift sometimes, day shift, night shift sometimes. So 12 kilometer to go there, 12 kilometer to come back. So I lived like that. I lived like that for several months. I lived like that. And I started, sometimes I will be in my room and I will be like, I'm tired of everything. There was a day I was at work and I don't have enough money to eat. And there is a kind of silo we were loading because we have to put the feeds, despite the fact that it's a mechanized farming. So, but we have to load feed into the silo. So the silo is very, very tall. So there's a machine that will run the feed from down. We will be pouring it by bags by bags. So it's like 60 to 70 kg, I don't know. So we'll carry it, we'll load it in there. It's around 2%. They will choose two staffs. They have roasters for it. So that day, I didn't have any money to eat anything at all on me. And I was so tired. And I had to continue loading. I must finish it. So because our supervisor is around the corner, so he will be coming often and often and will be checking on us. So my second guy was not there. I had to pick the grains inside the feed. I ate it that day. I picked the grains inside the feed. I was eating it. I will look around. If I see that nobody is looking at me, I'll pick it and I'll eat it. So the thing got really, really tired. I got fed up with that situation, but I continue. So after a year, I concluded that I will return to school, no matter, even if it's a national diploma, I'm going to get on with it. So after then, I summoned up courage with the little I had, and I spoke to my mother as well that I want to return to school, that she should please find way to assist me. So she agreed. And then I took the form. Then I don't want to mention the school, but it's around UI over there. So I took the form. Uh, uh, the School of Statistics. So Federal School of Statistics to be specific. So I took the form. I went there, and by the grace of God, I graduated with close to a distinction result at the end of the day. So, but those things kept on going on throughout the time that I spent in the school. I could say that my father never gave me any money throughout my time in the school, no substantial help came from him directly to me. To us, I would just call my mother if I need this, if I need that, and so many responsibilities were committed into my hand in the department, so that I have to run. And out of it, they gave me little changes, and I was faithful with what I have by the grace of God. So even after I almost graduated, things started getting tense and tense and tense continually, and I found it very difficult to cope. And I was thinking, like, what will I do if I graduate? How will I get money to establish myself and all that? So I summoned up courage. I took out of some money with me. Then I tried. They asked us to do COS then. So I tried. I used some of the money. I went back to our area where my father was living. So there are some farms around there, some bush, some forests that we can use to do farming. So I leased the land. It was 1 acre. So I leased the land and I went there. I started the farming with prior knowledge of a man, a farmer around there. So I informed him and he guided me. So I planted a maize, I planted potato, I planted cassava, I planted the 3 things like that. Only me in the forest. Sometimes I will not have any money to even go back to my father's place, because my father's place is very close. It's not really close, but I have to get transportation because the place is kind of far from there. Yes, ma. So I will have to use all these cutlass. The cutlass is not even sharp. In order to break firewoods, I will break it. All my hands will tear. I will break the wood. I will chop them. I will bundle it. I will carry it on my head. I will carry it to one of the women at the extreme junction to go and sell, so that I can get money to return to school, so that I can still manage myself. Even the one, when I sold it, the woman promised to pay me 2,000 naira. He just maneuver everything. He gave me maybe around 1,500 for 1,000 naira. Then I received the money. I feel like crying, but in my mind, I was determined that I am still going to get something done by the grace of God. So even in the rain, I will be there. I will be planting corn, and tears will be rolling inside the rain. I will be planting, and tears will be coming out from my eye. There was a day I was inside the farm. I saw this king cobra. The minute, but God just saved me that day. When I saw the cobra, it looked at me like this, just started running. He fled like this. I fled this way. We were running away from each other because I was so scared. Only me in the forest, and if it bites me, it's a black mamba, so it's very, very dangerous. I read about it. So no help was coming from anywhere.
In the bush, and nobody will know one's whereabouts.
Yes, wow. Yes, ma. So it went on like that. It went on like that for a very long time. So after the what do they call it? After the harvest, so I was hoping that I'm going to get something out of the farm so that I can generate the money I use to start the business and all that. So, and some people went there, they removed it, they stole the crops, they stole the maize. When they stole it, I was devastated. I was like crying on that day, like all my effort and everything that I have done, is this how God wants to repay me? So I sat down. I wanted to curse the day I was born that day. And I was like, if instead of me to be alive and my sister has been taken, why haven't God killed me? Because I was so angry that why is this thing happening to me? Am I the only one who is living? There are other children outside, and I know how they are living, and I will be seeing them on the roadside. Why is my own different? So there are suicidal. I started having suicidal thoughts, like maybe I should just poison myself. Maybe I should hang myself. Now, what kind of life is this?
Wow.
So I just managed out of, mommy, I will not lie to you. I'll be honest with you before God. What I took out of that farm is not up to 10,000 naira at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Laboring for another man to harvest. Journey
yes, ma'am.
of life.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So I moved on with life. I took the one I can take. I didn't even sell the potato, and I just sold the only cassava, the maize, whatever. I get it along. I took the potato, I gave it to my pastor. I didn't, I just relaxed my mind and I sat down. I was thinking about my life though. What kind of life am I living? So my pastor, because I was living after my school, then I wasn't determined to return back to my dad's house because there was nothing for me. So I went back to school. I explained the situation to my pastor and he took me in. He gave me a place to stay. So I stayed in a room at the back of the church there. So at a point in time when I don't have anything to do, I started frying yams. I was frying yams on the street. I sold yams on the street. I fry it. I sold potato on the street. I fry it. So some people will patronize me. Some people will not patronize. Sometimes the market will be left over. I did samosa and all that. I sold it in order to just survive. But as I was just, if I'm dragging it from this end, another thing will be taking it from that end. So my life was just rolling in
Wow.
circle, rolling in circle, rolling in circle.
Mm.
So that point in time was when I started losing hope. And then later on, to cut the thing, later on I spoke to my mom and I came to Lagos. I left the place because things were not just moving forward. Instead of me to be having suicidal thoughts, so I came to Lagos. When I came to Lagos, although I don't have intention in staying in Lagos then. So I told my mom, we discussed, and I joined one of my secondary school alumni on WhatsApp. So one day I don't know what happened that day. So I just posted on the high school's WhatsApp, the group I belong to, on an alumni group. So I told them I'm looking for job, this and that, so that they should assist me. And we have a senior advocate that's graduated from the high school, and doctor is also there, and insurance officer is also there, and all that. So I told them that I need job, that I've been having suicidal thoughts and everything, that they should please
Wow.
assist me. So one of them picked it up. The sister is in UK. So she picked it up because none of them were responding. So she commented on it that, is it when this guy commits suicide? That's when you guys will.
Let me button a little bit here.
Yes,
Insensitivity
ma'am.
is not fair. Some people are hearing me now, and recently, I don't know how well I heard it from the news. In this season of no cash, I just wanted to drop a word of wisdom for someone to know that if you are not sensitive to people around you, and if anything happens to them, your conscience will tell you, if I had done something, it wouldn't have happened. I was told that a woman was looking for money to feed her kids, no cash,
Yes,
nothing. And the children were hungry, four of them were hungry. And she said, well, let me just give you sleeping medication. At least you will sleep. Then when we wake up tomorrow morning, I will start hustling again. I don't know how, the story is on the news. And
ma'am.
she gave those four children sleeping medication, and all of them did not wake up
Hmm.
because of insensitivity. I'm sure somebody would have been around or should have gone to beg or did something that would make somebody to say, okay, let me just help in a little way. Show a little kindness. Shine the light for someone to see. If all of them, until that person said, if this guy now killed himself, a lot of people now be saying, and he said it, that he was having a suicidal thought. Even if he's pretending, still give your ears. Everything is not
Yes,
money. Please go ahead with your story.
yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So after then, when I got to Lagos, I sent the message and the person picked it up, and he gave me a number of one pastor is in Abuja. So he happens to be one of our alumni. So he told me to get in touch with the pastor. So I called the pastor. He told me that he's living in Abuja, that I think he saw the message as well. So, and the person who gave me the number told me to mention his name, that I should revert to the message. So when I told him everything that happened, that I'm looking for a job and all that. So the man said, okay, that he's going to forward his younger brother's number to me. His younger brother happens to be a medical doctor in Ibadan. So he gave me the number. So I called the man. So he told me to bring my CV. So I wrote my CV and I took it to his office. It was around, he has the hospital around Okeado then. So, but they have moved now. So I gave the CV to him. So luckily for me, he employed me as admin officer. So I worked for a while, I worked for around 1 year plus. So after then I got opportunity to travel to Dubai. So my mother assisted me with some cash. So when she gave me the money, we got the visa. That's more around 2019. I'm talking about 2019. So I think I wanted to apply for that thing around as early as possible, around May or so 2019. So the thing, because of passport problem, I couldn't get my passport on time. That time they said passport is very scarce in immigration and all that. So it was towards November that thing clicked. So November 12th, I went to Dubai. November 12th, I arrived in Dubai in November 12th, 2019. So after I got there, then, if one is traveling and you don't have prior knowledge about the place, and there is this thought that we
Some people,
have.
their set mind is, let me just jackpot, let me jackpot. They don't
Yes,
know
ma.
the terrain. They don't understand what
Yes, ma.
it
The
entails to
system.
get
Yes,
out of
ma.
this system.
Yes, ma. So after I got there, I fall into wrong hand. But because if somebody traveled and you don't have enough uh, enough uh, enough
Knowledge.
orientation about the place, yes, ma. So, and you got there, it's a strange land, you don't know everyone, you don't know the culture and everything. You will find things very, very difficult there. So, and being
Yes.
my first time in an advanced country, so I
Wow.
couldn't get everything quickly. So, and the people, if I happens to meet people with like mind, kind people, they will put me on the right track. But I fell in the wrong hand. So it was my first job in Dubai was a construction job. If anybody is listening to me, listening from Dubai right now, they will know the meaning of construction job. It's not the way we do it in Nigeria. It's a very, very extreme job, very, very heavy. It's
Thank
something
you.
that if you do it, you will not want to do. You will not pray for your enemy to do it. That's the kind of job it is. Even as I'm talking to you presently, this is the situation in Dubai. So because I don't want my visa to expire, they gave me 3 months visa. I don't want it to expire, because if it expire, they will be giving me overstay fine every day. And the first day of
Wow.
overstay fine was 100 dirham. 100 dirham then was equivalent to 10,000. Around then, it was around 10,260 naira or so before all this
Wow.
prices equal now. So they will start billing me. That's why in rush I accepted the job. When I got the job, even the boss that I jammed happens to be a very wicked man. He's an Egyptian. He's a very, very wicked, fetish, and dangerous man. So we will work from morning. It's not the kind of blocks we are laying in Nigeria here. The block I'm talking about, they call it tabuk. Very heavy, like it's more than 32 kg. Just one.
Wow.
It's more than 32 kg. Yes, ma.
Wow.
So we'll carry it, we'll mix sand, we will do everything. The work of 8 people, they make 2 people do it. These people, they are not kind.
That's
They don't
master.
tolerate. Yes, ma. They don't
Laziness.
tolerate. And they don't mind. If you like, die. But their work must continue. I worked till the point that my finger bent like this. I worked to the point that all my veins started expanding. I will be crying in the night. I will be rolling on the bed. Where we were living is in the middle of the desert.
Cha.
No, I can share the location of that place right now. You will find out that there is no, presently, it's just a place they are building up. The only thing right there, they laid the roads, they made the roads, they put street lights. That was then in 2019, November. I got the job November 21, 2019. I arrived in Dubai in November 12, 2019. I did this work. This is a very dangerous work. The most dangerous work that I have ever encountered in my life. So I did it, hoping that the man will also provide visa for me, that is stay for me. But the man kept on lying. There was a day he used charm to rub my head. This man I am talking about, he used charm to brush my hair to the back like this because I wanted to leave the place, but he didn't want me to leave the place. He wanted to make me work like a slave. He used me. He wasted my time. I spent 9 good months there working for the man. There was a day we'll be working like this. We were working that day. We worked from 7 a.m. We were supposed to close by 4:30. This man, they didn't allow us to close. We continued. We worked till 3:30 a.m. in the night. After that, one of us collapsed. The man blood started coming out from his mouth, from his nose, from everywhere. One of us that one of our colleagues that were working together. You know what they said? They said we should continue working. I said no. I said I'm not continuing anything. I said look at the situation of this man. The man spent close to 3 months at Al Qasimi Hospital in Sharjah. They had to rush him there. So to cut everything short, my life has been like I have been running in circles for so many years. And if I think about it, I'm just somebody, if I conceal something in my heart, I'll just look at it, and I will shake my head and I will still move on. But it got to a time I could no longer take it. I could no longer take it. It is better for me to be my lion in Nigeria than to be a lizard in Dubai. Because life has been terrible to me ever since I was born. Life has been and my life has been miserable. There are so many things that I couldn't say now because probably I can't remember them. But I came back home. I returned home early this year. Yes, January. I returned back home this January. I'm no longer going to continue life like this. I'm trying, as much as I'm trying to have my way, I just discovered I'm sinking. I'm just sinking the more. I'm sinking the more. There's no helper, no sister, no brother, no uncle, nobody to assist me. So why should I keep on forcing myself over what? If I die, that is I believe that's what God, that has been his determination for me right from my birth. Sometimes I will look at it like, let me just end everything, because life, what is the purpose? Just keep trying for nothing. So that was why I returned home. After I returned, I brought sickness along. I was having diarrhea. I was having this and that. Then that was when I came to church for healing and for deliverance. So this is my story.
Wow.
Thank you.
You just came to Faith and Miracle International Church, the Church of God's servants, and guess what? It's a beginning of a new beginning that I know. Wow.
Amen.
Thank you so much for making yourself vulnerable today. And one thing I'm sure of, God is a rewriter of history. He's a story changer. This mess is beginning to become a message and a ministry, and others will learn from me, because the root of this challenge is the family system. Parenting, conflict started in a home. Mephibosheth was a prince. If you listen to the story of this man, you will know that he has strength, is determined, is resilient, is gifted, is intelligent. Brought everything to a family system, to a home. Squandered it on the altar of conflict, and the boy became miserable. Parents, hear me. There's no price that is too high to pay, and to pay to do everything to make sure that you do not truncate the life of your children. Somebody is hearing me now. Another man's husband is sitting somewhere. That married man is what you want. You don't know that you are destroying your children. You are destroying another person's home. Please don't listen to stories. Nobody will lie against himself. The other side must be heard before you conclude. It's only a fool that will hear one side of the story and take it hook, line, and sinker and assume that everything is okay. No.
Thank you.
I'm still using this platform to tell every parent, especially if you're a single parent, dynamic parenting webinar will do you good. You can't raise your child alone. And of course, I've given all the people that will be attending the dynamic parenting webinar the privilege to have one-on-one session with me for no cost, because I know that there is something that is unique about your child. There's something that is unique about your situation, raising your children, that you need to share with someone. And I'll be all heart. I didn't say all ears, all heart. I don't listen to people with my head. I listen with my heart. He said something. He had to pull out of that deal, that scam, because of conscience. You could see that it was light that hit this man and beat him black and blue. The part of God in him was the one that led him to Faith and Miracle International Church to meet God's servant, and he got his deliverance. Please talk to me briefly. I just have 3 minutes to go. I don't know how we're going to do it. This episode brought something out of you. The prophet of God saw anger. Explain that in a bit, please. I need to hear that.
Yes, ma'am. The hunger is related to all the problems that I have faced. I will not deny it. The man of God is right. I will not deny it. But if one gets to a point, sometimes one will start to behave in such a way that there are some attitude that you don't have as a personality, but it will come out as a result of whatever it is that you are going through. This frustration, I have suicidal thoughts,
depression, suicidal thoughts. Why would you be normal when everything in your life is not normal?
Yes,
anger is just a way of exhaling and releasing the tension. Sex, everything. You just be. Were you into any form of drugs, maybe marijuana or cannabis or something? Because
no, ma'am.
Wow.
I never had
so
drugs.
You were just
before.
medicating your own pain with sex.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now listen to me, everyone, because we're closing now.
Yes.
Nature does not allow for emptiness. When you are wounded in your soul, the next thing is you are going to be using something to medicate that pain. We are not wired to be in pain emotionally. That's the same thing with our physical health. Anything that gives you discomfort, you need something to treat. You need something to take care of it, like analgesic for headache. Emotional wounds, you can medicate with gambling, with sex, relating wrongly, watching pornography, masturbating, all sorts, in the name of I am tired of where I am. I need something to cool me off. And it does not cool you off, it destroys you the more. And that's why the best bet is for you to seek help. Get someone to intervene in your situation, and your story will change. I'm short of words, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for becoming gradually a wounded healer. And I know it can only get better. The God of Prophet Adetuberu is a God that changes stories. I can tell you over and over and over and over again. I'm part of that ministry. I'm part of the testimony of his anointing, and I'm not taking it for granted. And he knows. By the grace of God, it can only get better. Thank you so much for
Amen.
sharing your
Thank
life with us tonight.
Amen. Thank
This
you, ma'am.
is my story, my reality with Funke Adetuberu. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we're going to be addressing another topic. Is it toxic or not toxic? And I'm still coming on toxic parenting tomorrow. Please don't miss it. Next tomorrow, I'm going to have a juggernaut in the house. I'm not going to tell you who he is, but Powerhouse is coming to share with us again on parenting. Life is too short to raise your children anyhow. The moment they are set, it's going to be difficult to get them back on track. It is the mercy of God that made this man to find a place in Faith and Miracle International Church to have life again. I want to say thank you once again for coming.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's 1 hour
Thank you,
already and we need to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you
I'll see
so
you
much,
guys
ma'am.
tomorrow. Thank you and God
Yes,
bless.
ma'am.
Bye. Bye.